picnic, we might end up on the moon.
You're ready for
Hey
it.
friends, this is Chuck Prophet here. Happy to be at the Waterfest Blues Festival. Was lucky enough to appear earlier today with my band, the Cumbia Shoes, and we rocked like a bitch, man.
Hell yeah. So, so yeah, you can say whatever you want, man. So with his Cumbia Shoes,
Cumbia.
what does Cumbia? Yeah, I'm terrible with pronunciations. Thank you so much for that. What does this band let you do to live that regular rock setup that doesn't?
Well, it enables me to play with a bunch of cool Latin musicians. It enables me to have a different groove underneath the songs, you know. And lo and behold, more often than not, it inspires a dance party.
Right.
And not every singer-songwriter gets to have that kind of band.
Mm-hmm.
And I do, and I love it. And I feel very fortunate.
Yeah, definitely. I think the crowd really resonated with your performance today. So Wake the Dead has such a strong rhythm identity. Which song changed the most once it hit the stage, though?
Well, that's a very good question. I mean, there's a song called "Give the Boy a Kiss," and we didn't know that this little, like, almost like consider it sort of a, if Ricky Nelson was a cumbia artist,
Right.
kind of a vintage vibe to it. But once we got it up on the bandstand and started kicking it around, we got a little dub with it.
Right.
And, I didn't see that coming, and we stretched that out on stage, and that's always fun.
Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun to see something that you thought was going to go one direction and it turns out a different direction, but it turns out so beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of a slave to. I'm a classicist.
Right.
In other words, I'm a slave to conventional song structures. So my instincts are not unlike, the instincts of the writers that came out of the Brill Building in the 60s.
Right.
Verse, chorus, bridge, solo, double chorus. So, I think that makes what we do kind of unique, because a lot of cumbia music and chicha music and salsa music, some of it can just be one chord.
Definitely.
But we're still a slave to that classical way of trying to keep people interested.
Right.
Story or the narrative or the music.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to keep the relevant in this day and age, growing in any future age, even with any genre that's not brand new. You know what I mean?
We had a band called The Points playing before us this afternoon, and the guitar player, I don't know what kind of guitar he was playing, but it was as if he was playing in a different language.
Right.
And I asked him, I said, "What kind of language are you playing guitar?" And he said, "I don't know what you mean." I said, "Well," he said, "Gibberish." I said, "Well, they don't teach that at Berkeley."
That's great.
And whatever you're doing, don't stop, man.
Right.
Fantastic.
Definitely. Yeah, a lot of real good flavorful musicians here, like a good
And
hot
I like
pot.
how the blues umbrella, includes everybody.
Right, yeah.
Cumbia music, which some people say came out of Peru and Colombia. It includes this kind of Cambodian rock and roll those guys were playing earlier today. It includes, there was a yacht rock band earlier. I just like that it's inclusive.
Yeah, definitely.
And as well as being like traditional blues guys.
Definitely.
Coming out of these stages.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this has been around since the 80s, you know what I mean? So it's like legends have performed here, and now, you know what I mean? You sit here and you say it like that, it's like really resonates with me, trust me. So like cumbia, right? That's how I would say cumbia. Thank you for that. It's good to it's real humble to actually learn something, get corrected on something, so I don't butcher it. And
early on.
I love it. So cumbia is built for movement, though, and your writing still carries a grit and story. How do you keep both alive in that?
Well, I mean, even everything I listen to has some kind of groove. Even acoustic music that I listen to, my idea of a good acoustic record is Beggar's Banquet by the Rolling Stones.
Okay.
I like acoustic music, but with a rhythm section.
Right.
So it's not a stretch for me.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd start to get bored.
Right. Is there a genre that people would think there's no way Chuck's into that genre that you could like enlighten us on?
I mean, when I'm at home and I'm just like anybody else, I'm making playlists. I'm always looking for that ABBA deep cut that I've never really heard.
Okay.
But I do listen to a lot of ABBA.
Okay.
I listen to it because, well, first of all, the craftsmanship and the songs are so good, but also because it calms me down.
Yeah.
It's nice that there's not a note out of place.
Definitely.
I gotta be in the mood for that,
Yeah.
That's my control freak. Like I gotta it calms me down. So.
100%.
So I love ABBA.
Yeah.
I study them, and there's a lot of ABBA in my music.
Okay.
Look for it.
Definitely, you got to search for that. Got to look. That I think people should have to comment down on what song has that influence in on from you, and try to come to you in a future show and ask you, was that song influenced by ABBA?
Well, there's a song called "I Got My Best Shirt On," which is it has a little bit of ABBA influence, and then there's also a song called uh, I don't know if it's called "Dreamer or the Dream" or "Stranger on a Train." I can't remember the title of it, but it's got that dinging, dinging, dinging. It's got that cool ABBA piano figure,
right?
That you hear a lot. So
I love it. I love it. Are you a big fan of like Eurovision musicians that come out of that scene?
I'm a big fan of I watch a lot of Top of the Pops.
Okay.
I watch a lot of 80s Top of the Pops.
Okay.
And it's a weekly British show where people perform lip sync to their hits.
Uh-huh.
And you see a lot of like one hit wonders.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm fascinated by that.
Yeah.
And also the fashion, in the 80s.
Pop culture of it
Yeah, a
all.
little bit, yeah.
Love it.
And it's not necessarily like guitar music. It's not necessarily like my world of Neil Young and Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen. You see things that can really surprise you.
Definitely.
So I enjoy that. It's like a time capsule.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
YouTube is just YouTube is such a gift. I'm a rabbit hole person.
Yeah.
I'll take a left, take a right, take a left. I don't even know where I got.
Yeah.
100%.
And then you end up finding something you never heard of, and you're like, wow, that's really cool.
Well, I can't wait to hear about other bands from that town during that era,
Definitely. So what's the first sign that the crowd has fully stepped into the Kumbia shoes of the world? What's the first sign?
Well, when I got together with this group, Key and Save, we played a festival in Big Sur, and I didn't know how we were going to be received, but they told me when we were rehearsing, and they said, Chuck, as soon as we start playing the Kumbia, all the brown people working in the food trucks, they're going to come down, they're going to start dancing. And I was like, I don't know, guys, I can't say that. You could say that.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, man, once we started playing the Kumbia grooves, they all came down. And I was playing and I was looking out into the crowd and I saw that dancing. And all I can think of is, I want more of this.
Right.
More of this.
Right.
How can I have more?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do this every night.
I love that.
That's pretty much the way it turned out.
That's awesome. So what would you tell a fan that's been a fan of you for a long time, but hasn't listened to any of your stuff in the past few years? Do you feel like there's been a big change?
No. You don't need an owner's manual to understand my music.
Right.
Put it on, it'll speak to you, or it won't.
Yeah, or it won't.
Yeah. But I have values.
Right.
I have values musically, I have values lyrically, and those values they go through everything I do.
Definitely. I mean, it really shows. You're not a downer?
No.
Do you ever feel like sometimes downer times in your life resonate through your music ever?
Sure. But that's a joyful sorrow.
Right.
That feels good. It's a good cry.
It's almost like a cleanse. Like a cleanse.
I'm not a downer.
You're not a downer. I love it.
One more question.
Cool. So, final thoughts?
Yes.
Final thoughts that you have?
Happy to be here in Portland. Beautiful time of year. Hearing a lot of music I never heard before. And I'm glad that you took the time to give me some attention. I assume
Of
this
course.
isn't just for your phone.
No. And I'm really glad that you sat down with me. I know you're real busy, Chuck, and we've been having to reschedule over and over again, brother. It's real hard. And I'm very thankful to meet you. The hot dog's important. Way more important than this interview. Trust me, Chuck. Trust me. Well, thank you so much, Chuck. Thank you.
Tell the truth if we have to, we can plead insanity.